Today on the show, we are here to talk about the Toledo Walleye Pipeline with Brad Rhegness.
Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Welcome back to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. We are a podcast brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Connor, and I'm here with my brother, Kyle.
Yeah, we are a show brought to you by the fans for the fans. We are not officially sponsored by the Grand Rapids Griffins or Detroit Red Wings. We're here to provide you the updates for the Griffins in this offseason, and pretty soon we'll be kicking off the season in October, so getting you ready for that.
Yeah, so there's not much news going on right now. Pretty dead in the middle of the summer. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. But we're going to get into this interview with Brad Rhegness to talk about Toledo Walleye.
Yeah, this is part of the Players in the Pipeline series. Just want to get an update on the Walleye. Talk to Brad, catch up. We haven't talked to him in a little bit, so just get an update, see how the last season went for him, and we'll get this one underway.
So today we have a blast from the past. We got Brad Rhegness back on the show to talk Toledo Walleye. He was with us our first season, and he's here to talk some walleye. We figured he's the best guy to talk about it with.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back on.
Yeah, welcome back, Brad. Good to have you back. You guys had a pretty nice season again that kind of ended the way they always do. You want to go ahead and just kind of talk us through how the current season went, what you've been up to, and what it's like being a season ticket member for the Toledo Walleye?
Absolutely. And again, I'm happy to be back on. This past season was a fairly good season. We made it a lot further than last year, which is always good. Made it to the Kelly Cup finals. Stood strong a few games, but the choice ultimately got to us back in their home turf. They are a very strong offensive and defensive team. They know what they're doing. Coming from a different area and different districts, they play a lot differently with the Canadians and stuff like that. However, it was a great season, and a lot of good players arrived and developed, and unfortunately a lot of them have also left, so that will leave a lot of room for next year and who's going to take places and see how far we go in the next upcoming season.
Yeah, I feel like that schedule kind of wore the Walleye down, all those home games in a row.
Yeah, they did, but there's also a few other teams that had a lot of home games and turnover games and stuff like that. I think Florida was one of them this year that had a lot of home games, home, away, and a lot of traveling in there. But we did have quite a bit of traveling with home and away games as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of players leaving after the Walleyes come up short this year, and a lot of that core is dispersing. You got like Tyler Spiza going overseas, Wendowski going overseas. It's just a lot going on, a lot of movement.
Yeah, a lot of movement with a lot of good players, a lot of solid players. Like you said, Lewandowski was definitely a first pretty big blow to us. It started as a rumor, but those rumors always seem to turn true when it's on Elite Prospect. Another one was Bliss. That was another. I was a little bit surprised about Bliss leaving.
I was a little shocked on that one too. I really liked Bliss.
I did too. He really came in during playoffs and was a very key player.
Yeah, he was like right under Hawkins in points, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was right at Hawkins' heels.
Yeah, you got Jan Bednar too, the goalie, who's kind of led the Walleye through the playoffs there.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. He was great. Bednar throughout the whole playoffs, very strong. He developing. He reminded me of during playoffs. He reminded me of Kosa, just that developing and seeing him grow up and get stronger. And then towards the end, they were playing Bednar the last 2 or 3 games was him straight, which was very different because usually the tactic was Skylander 1 game, Bednar 1 game, but Skylander, it was a little bit much for him, where Bednar was able to hold his ground a little bit better.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder going, into the last couple games of the season like that. It's like, do they want everything they can see out of Bednar, being that he ended up leaving? I wonder if the coaches and everyone was like, all right, let's see what we really got in this guy. Let's throw him out there and give him everything, give him every opportunity and see if he crumbles or makes it. But unfortunately, you guys didn't come up with that win, and Bednar is now signed overseas.
Yeah. I think many players saw it coming.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he's been in the organization for quite some time. And yeah, I think his time finally kind of came to an end here and within the system.
Yeah, he came up and he actually played a couple games for Kosa.
I
got
remember
pulled. Kosa got pulled 1 game for a really bad performance, and he came in and played pretty good. I mean, he looked good in the AHL, but it's another one of those situations where, your guy, there's not like the Wrestlings are getting a lot of goalies. They got Trey Augustine coming up, and then they got that new goalie they just drafted also. So
right, I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Pastava.
So it's really time for Skylander to take over. I mean, it's his chance, and we got some other dudes coming in.
Rudy Guymond?
Yeah, Rudy Guymond. We got some goalies coming in.
Yeah, finally we got some strong goalies. Hopefully we can develop these goalies and they just kind of distribute it throughout the organization. I really feel like the Detroit organization is, I don't want to say weak, but definitely not as strong as it should be. I mean, Kosa's a great addition and very strong, but just like there's just something about our goalie situation.
Yeah, and Trey Augustine taking another year at Michigan State really is, I don't want to say takes a hit because he's obviously still in our system and he's still a great goaltender, but that development curve kind of gets a little interesting with him not being here in Grand Rapids or Toledo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting at the end of the year because after the college season ends a lot sooner than the AHL or the ECHL, it'll be interesting to see if they put them in behind Kosa or they send them down to Toledo for a little bit.
I have a feeling they'll send them down to Toledo for a little bit, maybe. Hopefully for us. I'll take him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Him and Skylander, maybe Skylander can be, because it always seemed like, from what I noticed, it was Kosa and Bednar. Bednar was always under the wing of Kosa. Kosa moves up, Bednar kind of becomes the first goalie, and then there's Skylander. Skylander's, starting to improve. Bednar is great. Bednar moves on, so maybe Skylander can help Augustine, or maybe vice versa. Maybe a little bit, they can help each other out a little bit more, kind of a little developmental. I mean, I know it's a developmental league, but you kind of see a pattern with how all these guys have been the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's well said. I like, just having someone that's used to being there, and like the playing against men is something you kind of have to get used to, especially coming out of college, and just kind of want to get a little more familiar sometimes before you dive into the deep stuff. So,
right.
So any other key players that have left or are returning that you want to talk about?
Tyler Spiza is gone. Makes me kind of cry.
Yeah, I know, that was Spiza. He did really well. Like, I really like Spiza, but when he came back, because I know Spiza was in Grand Rapids. When he came back, I was thinking I'm hoping it's not like another. Don't get me wrong. Disclaimer: TJ Hensick was a great player too. However, he was gone from the game. Then he kind of came back. I was hoping that Spiza was going to be another one where we re-sign a big player and he doesn't really perform as well. But I gotta say, Spiza did a hell of a job when he was in the playoffs with Hawkins, Bliss, Craig's. Like, that line was just very good there.
Yeah, it sucks losing those big names like that, but you do got Brandon Hawkins, 2-time MVP returning, and then you got Sam Craig's returning. He
holds down the team leadership, and I think he keeps the morals, and he's a great player. But another hard loss was Lewandowski. That was a rough one to see go.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, and he's been down there for the last like 3 seasons.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, he's been down there. But he's also, another note is that he's a Michigan State grad as well. So,
Yeah, that's really cool.
Michigan State is one of the better college ones. So maybe Augustine staying in Michigan State for a little bit longer is fine. Maybe let him develop a little bit more.
Good development. Yeah, he wants to win a national championship. I mean, they had quite a good team last year. It was a really disappointing first round exit for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that ironically happened in Toledo.
Yeah, very, very disappointing. So if I was one of them, I'd definitely want to take another shot because there's a really high expectation, and I think a lot of the teams they're still a lot of key pieces, and I think they could make a run on it this year. So I don't blame Augustine at all.
Nope, and injuries are probably a lot worse up here because it is a different league, whereas college,
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, college still has injuries and stuff like that, but it seems like here, like example would be Rhegness when he got injured with a lower back injury in the beginning of this season. He's pretty much done for the rest of the season.
Dang.
Yeah, we were kind of curious on what happened to Chaz Rhegness because he signed a Griffins contract at the beginning, and then he ended up playing for you guys, and we just kind of never really heard from him again. So you kind of answered that question.
You're right. He was great the first few games of the season, and then he got shoved. I think it was like a stick, and then he fell straight on his butt on his back, and that was it for the year. And
that
it really
sucks,
stinks because I was hoping to be he was a really good player. I mean, I was happy when he signed.
Yeah, we were looking forward to get to at least see from him. Normally, when someone signs a Griffins contract, they at least play him in the year. But
right.
You're always curious what you got when you sign someone. But yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate for him. Hopefully, he can get it all back together.
I hope so too, and I hope we honestly resign him because we need some height. I mean, watching them play in the playoffs, those Choice players were massive compared to us.
Yeah.
So returning players, you got Jed Patilla, Brendan Michelin, Colin Sawyer, Colin Keenan, Sam Craigs, and Brandon Hawkins. So there's still a lot of dudes there, and I wouldn't be shocked with the coach and everything going on. I mean, I think we could make it pretty far again. It's a lot more on the table this year.
I agree. But there is new development. I like that Brandon McCallion, number 11, hell of a defenseman in my opinion. He's developing well. It's been fun watching him this whole season. He's kind of becoming my new favorite player. Colin Sawyer is great too, and Patella too. Craigs, those are just Craigs, Hawkins, and Keenan are just the pillars right now for the Walleye.
The guys you need to get that return.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get into those players. We got a couple players the players you think that would possibly be able to make the jump to the Griffins or make their way through the pipeline up to Detroit someday. Like dudes like Carson Bantle and so on. So who do you got for us?
Bantle, absolutely. I mean, selfishly, I want him to keep him down here, but I know he can do very well up ahead, up in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids be a few years. As for, let me take another peek. Look. I would have said Bliss, but Bliss is never really. He went overseas.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I was kind of a Bliss supporter too, but
yeah, and
to stick with Carson Bantle for a second.
Yes.
I mean, you got this guy. He's relatively young at 23 years old, probably 24 now, but 6'5", big frame, comes in, kind of makes an appearance for Grand Rapids when he started for us.
Yeah, I liked what I seen from him coming up. He had physicality. He looked really good up in the AHL. I felt like if we needed to have him stay up, he could have. And
Right.
him and Gabriel Seeger, both of them guys, I really liked what I seen from them, and I'd like to see more Carson Bantle. I mean, he's got the big size and the competitiveness.
Yeah, great in front of the net. Not afraid to get there either.
No, he is not afraid at all.
For Toledo last year, we had 39 games played. He had 21 goals, 8 assists for 29 points, which is really, what you're looking to see, at least half a point for a big power forward that down in Toledo. And then really kind of had an explosive first round in the playoffs and didn't really score a whole lot after that. So what do you got to say about his time in the playoffs? He had like 4 goals in the first series.
Yeah,
and Bantle only one.
He was on fire. He really became. He was kind of a quiet name, honestly, throughout the season. But towards the end, you started hearing his name thrown around more. But man, once the playoffs hit, there was a whole nother switch that flipped in him, and he just became a fan favorite. I gotta say that for sure. Great player in front of the net, and not afraid at all to get into it, which is something that all I honestly need, because there's not many other players I can say that play like Bantle. I mean, there's a few I can think of, but right now, focusing on him, he's definitely. I can see potential him going up to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and you guys got to see Hunter Johannes last year, just a touch, right?
Yeah, just a touch, not too much.
I would kind of compare their playing styles. I think if we were to move on from Hunter Johannes, then Carson Manner would instantly fill that role.
Right.
I think the Griffins are going to give Hunter Johannes a little bit more time to develop and try to bring out his physical game, but I think Carson Bantle could kind of fill that void as well as just one of those wrecking ball type players. So
right, yeah, I kind of because he only Johannes only played 4 games with us, 4 games, 2 goals, and 3 assists. So if you think about it, in 4 games, he had 2 goals and 3 assists. That's pretty good.
He's definitely well equipped for the ECHL. His game struggled a little bit more in Grand Rapids, but again, he's kind of he's like a big guy with finesse almost. Like I wouldn't say finesse, but he actually has a little bit of goal scoring ability. Johannes does. And I think Bantle's is a little more power forward-esque, just kind of bully bodies to the net, get there, get in front and get goals. Where, Johannes, he's got a little bit of speed to him when he wants to fly, and kind of get some puck handling from him when he wants to. So it's a little bit interesting to see the comparison between those two and moving forward who the team kind of sticks with.
Yeah, so in Bantle's time in Grand Rapids, he played 23 games. He had 1 goal, 0 assists, and 1 point for -3. So not bad making the jump. He didn't go too far negative and got a goal. So,
yeah. But man, my ultimate line would be Johannes, Redicott, Bantle, and Darian Pilon. I would like to see that. Would be a fun little line to see how they would play together.
Just get some smashing in.
Some smashing, because I don't think 29 on our team. Darian Pilon, he's newer and he's developing great. He's kind of like a Bantle. He is willing to get in the face. I mean, he gets into the faces. He's kind of like I'm gonna take like a Fraser and a Bantle put together. Doesn't really put up with anything.
Well, those are the type of guys you need, especially in those deep playoff runs. So good to have them back for sure. So we can talk about another defenseman in Nicholas Andrews.
So Nicholas Andrews pretty much played on Michigan State, that really big, good team we were just talking about. And then after that early playoff exit, he went right to Toledo and then made a deep run. So perfect experience for a young kid like that. How do you play?
Again, he played great in the times he did play. He went from played 2 games in the regular season, 0 goals, 1 assist. And then in the playoffs, all 20 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. Again, great player. Fun seeing him on the ice and play, but not too many goals. But, he's still straight out of college too. So he is signed on with you guys for next year. He is signed with Grand Rapids.
that's why we want to talk about him, of course, signing that Grand Rapids contract. And we had some talks with the Michigan State Munsters about his performance down in Michigan State and how he's kind of grown and become just a player that kind of pops on your radar. And the more you look into him, the more you kind of like what you see out of him. But it seems like a very much so a player that's not afraid to play defense as a defenseman, like a defensive defenseman, and then maybe not throw the body as much, but more of a shot blocking takeaway type of defenseman.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you see that out of Nicholas Andrews? Because that's
yeah,
kind of what
I
I'm
did. Like
coming in.
at first, he seemed like a little shy, but once he got into it well. And I was also thinking he's kind of like a Bantle, where Bantle was just kind of on your radar, but then you start to see them develop and shine throughout the season and into the playoffs, where they find their groove and stuff like that.
Nice. I know me and Connor were watching the Walleye game where he actually got he got himself a penalty, got himself out of the box, and got himself a breakaway goal. So
that was a great goal.
We were like, hey, that's the guy who signed with the Griffins.
Yep. That was a great. I remember that. We're like, all right, he's coming out the box. Oh, he's got the puck, and then a shorthanded bam, wham, right in.
Yep.
Yeah, and that being said, he's signed a Griffins contract, and Jacob Truscott has also signed a Griffins contract. He might get a little bit of Toledo Walleye time. He's the captain from the University of Michigan, defenseman also. So that'd be cool. He might be a guy you might get down there for a little bit.
You said that was Jacob Cross.
Yeah, Jacob Truscott from Michigan. Yep.
I'll take another Michigan player.
Yeah, we were kind of looking into him, and there's the roster spots for defense are starting to fill up for Grand Rapids, being that they just brought over Canuck Lapeert. They re-signed William Laugesen. They brought over Bernard Docker. So there's definitely like who's going to make the Red Wings, who's going to fall down to the Griffins, because a couple of these guys I'm sure they're AHL bound. And then that kind of opens up the opportunity for Nicholas Andrews and Jacob Truscott to kind of fall down to Toledo.
Yeah, they'll probably be fighting for a spot, and then obviously injuries happen, and that opens up spots too. It's good to see that we're going to have a little bit more of a defensive depth this year. Which is
for sure.
What's been needed for a long time, obviously.
But we can go ahead and move into Carter Geilander, talk a little goalie too here.
Geilander, absolutely.
Seems how we've talked about him a little bit already, but in 37 games last year, basically split the season with Bednar at 20 wins. Got that 0.9 and above save percentage at 9.907 and 2.61 goals against average with 2 shutouts. So pretty good season for Geilander. I can't complain with what I saw out of him.
Oh no, absolutely. I feel like when he had those shutouts that really threw on his momentum. He does. I mean, watching this as a spectator is a lot different than getting a puck shot at you at however fast it is. But sometimes it seems like he's a little bit slow sometimes moving around the net. There's been a few times where the crowd's kind of watching like that was a little bit slow, but then again, I mean, he's the one that's down on the ice taking these pucks.
So when you say slow, is it like reaction time slow, or is it just like
time.
Okay?
Yeah. His reaction time. I mean, I'm super into it. However, like it almost just seems like watching it in slow motion.
Oh, I hear you.
Sometimes
the slow moving goalie thing can be good if you got like someone who's stable and just kind of doesn't move a whole lot. But yeah, if it's like a slow reaction time, it's definitely something to be a little concerned about.
Yeah, there's been a few times you can't, as a goalie, it's hard as can be. I get it. I'm giving that to him, but it seemed like there's a few times to watch him where like that he just moves so slow and like this, and sometimes our defense too doesn't have the goalie's back. I mean, we can't throw everything on the goalie. There's a defense for a reason.
Yep.
And but no, those 2 shutouts really, really helped him out during the regular season.
Nice. Yeah, and then the playoffs, he had 8 games. It ended up with 6 wins, only 2 losses in the playoffs, and then a 0.895 and a 2.88 goals against average. Again, fairly good numbers there in the playoffs. Someone we're going to look to see play some games here between Kosa and Pastava.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure he'll be around a little bit of.
Yeah, he'll be the up and down goalie this year as Ben
Oh
was.
yeah,
and-
like how Bednar was. I would like
Yep.
to see some fresh goalies too down in Toledo a little bit.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Guidman come over and see what we got in him playing against men.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. So anything else you want to bring up about the Walleye? Anything you're super excited? Any changes coming to the next season?
There's gonna be a lot of fresh faces. A few of the ones. One of my two favorites, Brandon McCallion re-signed. I'm happy about him re-signing. He really shined through in the playoffs. One that I'm watching closely is going to be Darian Pylon, number 29. His brother plays for Kalamazoo and is ironically his brother, Pylon's brother, injured Spezia.
Oh,
Was one of the main when Spezia went into the board super hard.
in Grand Rapids or in Toledo?
In Toledo this past
Okay,
season.
gotcha.
Because he had a really headlong into the board, bad injury. His brother was the last one. They're playing to the boards, and I think he got tripped up with his brother, and he went headlong. However, Darian Pylon, great defense, willing to get into it, great player all around, fun to watch. He played for University of Prince Edward's Ireland in 22-23, and then he played for the Walleye from 23-24, 31 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. And in the past season for 24-25, 60 games, 4 goals, 5 assists.
Is that for the Canadian College League?
Yes. Yep. University
Okay.
of Prince Edward says, yep. Canadian
Gotcha.
there. Watching him play, he plays very physical. He's not afraid to get into it and defend his colleagues, his fellow players and men on the ice. He definitely has an intimidation aspect to him, but he's a character as well. He's fun to off ice. He's really cool on ice. Just reminds me a lot of a Frazier a little bit. Aside from that, there's not many other players I really have my eye on right now. I'm sure as soon as we're done, I'll think of a few, but
That's how it always goes, man.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes with me, at least.
Matt Anderson, that's one I would hope will come back for Toledo, but he signs the AHL contracts and then he always comes back down eventually.
Interesting.
With Anderson. Beraldo, I don't really know. Signed on, played a few games. Not much from him. I think he had an injury. Grant Gabriel's playing for, I think that was another big defensive was Gabriel. He's playing for Fort Wayne Comets now.
Gotcha.
So he got
Interesting.
traded to Utah. So we did a big trade with Utah last season. We had 2 players go over there. Ness, which I really would have liked to see what Ness could do. Talking about a good player for Grand Rapids was Ness. Him and Ness were traded to Utah, and then Gabriel is in Fort Wayne now, which he was a good defense.
Starts
I know, and then
getting-
there's a few sign-ins. Walleye's keeping it up of signing about every week or week and a half, and you're just very honestly, I'm looking forward to more of don't get me wrong, I'm glad that if they came out that Craig's or Hawkins wasn't signing in next year, it'd be concerning. But it's I'm almost looking for a newer signing, okay, one from a U of M or Michigan State or another ECHL division team.
Yeah. You want those fresh legs coming out of college?
Fresh legs, maybe a mountain division, just something a little different.
Well, I think
Yeah, that should pretty much wrap it up, man. Is there anything else, any promotions or social media you want to drop, where to find you or your content?
No, not right now. Maybe once the season gets going, if you guys invite me back.
Heck yeah,
For sure.
For sure, man.
Awesome.
We'll keep talking to you for sure about the Walleye. We always like our update and kind of thinking we'll do a early season, maybe once the roster gets figured out.
Oh,
'cause
once the roster's released, for sure.
you know how it goes, like the last couple weeks right before the puck drops, you're scrambling to figure out who's on the team and whatnot. So we'll have to catch up with you right before the season starts. We'll probably catch up with you like mid-season, see how things are going, and we'll try to catch up at the end of the season.
Awesome. Perfect. That works for me.
Heck yeah.
And then, of course, when you guys go all the way to the finals again, we'll have to talk again about that.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was great having you on again, man. We have a blast. We're excited
Yeah,
to
it's great being
keep
back
having
on.
you on.
Yeah, and we got to make it down to Toledo still. It's one of those games that's just a little
Yeah,
bit
you guys
farther away,
do.
but it's so worth going down because you guys have one of the greatest fan bases in hockey. It shows.
Yeah. And I gotta make it back up for a Grand Rapids game as well. So,
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we'll do a ticket exchange.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you got you 2 tickets this year for sure, buddy. I got
And
you.
you guys have 2 tickets down here too. We'll just have to figure out a date for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll figure out a date for you. Same thing.
Yeah, gotta love hockey and all the cultures it brings with it. So
Oh, absolutely.
got to experience and got to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Brad. Thanks a lot. You have
Yeah,
a
thank
good
you,
rest of
guys.
your day.
You too. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
See you, Ben.
Yeah. See ya.
So that was a great interview with Brad Rhegness about the Toledo Walleye Pipeline.
Thanks for coming on again, Brad. It's always a great time talking with you about the Toledo Walleye and the connections we have here in Grand Rapids. We'll be in touch throughout the season. We'll be looking forward to more walleye updates.
Thank you, Brad. We'll see you soon. So that brings us to the final segment of every episode, which is the penalty box. So in this final segment of the episode, the penalty box, we like to end the episode on a fun note and put the biggest idiot of the week into the penalty box for 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, or a game misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing in the box?
So a firefighter gets his truck hit by a local baseball team playing in a local baseball game. Firefighter decides to grab the fire truck, hook up to the fire hydrant, and flood the field. Now, this is a spot where multiple times in the past that they have been warned about parking their cars close to a baseball park where you just kind of assume that people are going to be hitting balls across. You know, your car gets hit, you park there, it's kind of your fault. So the fire department has officially released an apology letter or statement to kind of correct their misdoings here, but this is just a definite 5-minute major to go and flood a children's baseball field.
I say we just keep it to the nice, friendly family environment and baseball, America's pastime. Don't leave it to the barbarian fishermen. Have fun in the box.
All right. So 5-minute major for the fireman. You expect more out of them. You really do.
Yep, that's 5 minutes in the box.
Have at it. What are you doing in the box today?
So there's the top goalies under the age of 25 was released, and Sebastian Kosa did not make the list. Falling even past Trey Augustine was up on there. Askarov was on there. Victor Wallstedt, Jesper Wallstedt was on there. So all these goalies that I think Kosa has performed better than, or there's dudes like Augustine who haven't even played a lick of AHL time, so you can't even gauge how he's going to do in the AHL. I just think it's a poor. Someone was completely overlooked. Sebastian Kosa, an absolute phenomenal goaltender. I think he should be in the top 2.
Yeah, I'd say at least top 5. In my opinion, he should be under Askarov here. But, you know, we've seen it. There's just kind of this a little bit of Kosa hate going around right now. His lack of performance in the playoffs, even though he was kind of surrounded by a team that was struggling to get it together. there's just a lot of lack of trust in Kosa right now, and I really hope he comes in this season and steps it up and proves everyone wrong, because I believe that Kosa is a solid prospect. He's been driving us through this, drove the Griffins to the playoffs the last 2 years, and we're lucky to have him. So I think he will get some time this year, and people will start to see what he's all about.
Yeah, I think he's just got the big size. The big size covers the net, and then he's got the ferocity. He's a great goaltender. He's a great competitor, and I think it's time for him to start getting his winged wheel on and testing out the waters of the NHL. And I think eventually, once he figures that out, I think he'll be a great goaltender.
Yeah, it seems like the confidence thing has been part of his career, making sure that he can climb to the next level, and when he does, he's always solid. So just got to get him there. I'm sure he'll be great. I don't want to hear any more Kosa hate out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at the time frame for a goalie, most goalies aren't even NHL ready till they're 25. So he really is on a fantastic pace, and just because he had a little bit of struggles last year when the whole workload was put on him, that's just part of a growing path. You have to fail to succeed. He didn't fail necessarily. He just had a rough time, and those are the times that make you grow. So I think Ghost is on a phenomenal path. I think having hardships after having such great seasons to start, I think that's the stuff that you grow from, and that's just gonna rather have it happen now than in the Stanley Cup.
I agree. How long are you putting him in the box for?
This is a game misconduct. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm absolutely lost my mind over this. I'm sickened.
Personally, think this type of article is rage bait to get the people feisty. Not including Kosa in there, they knew what they were doing, getting you to work it up. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. We just have still trying to line up a interview with Jimmy Haskell. We'd love to talk to him about some of the remaining Red Wings prospects that we might see in the Griffins this year. So looking forward to that, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Go Griffin.
Go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like and follow us on Facebook and X, or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.